What's up, everyone? So today I want to try something new. I am doing this really for my Patreon subscribers, but I want a little bit more feedback on this and I don't want it to be paywalled, so I decided I'm going to do a free Patreon post. Okay, so first thing for the Patreon subscribers, I want to say that we're changing shifts, or I'm changing, there's nobody else that does it. I'm changing a shift in how I do content on Patreon. Normally, I'd put out a weekly post on Patreon, a podcast, an article, something. Instead, I'm moving to something more substantive, or however you say the word, right? So I want to put out videos like this. It won't be once a week. Instead, it will be as I come up with good ideas. Because that's the thing about Patreon. If you're subscribing, you're paying $5 a month for it. You deserve something good, not just an article that's like, oh, this is something that should be out free. So, yeah, this little change in things there. So let's go ahead and dive in and explain what's going on. I've got my handy-dandy Apple Pencil. Woo! I'm going to need a new webcam to make myself look prettier because I need it. But today we're going to be delving into a new type of content. If you follow me on like Rockfin or Substack or something like that, where you see my before and aftermath articles, I talk about, I include diagram when we talk about a technique that we've seen in the fighter, either in the past for before math or in the future or after the fights happen with aftermath, right? So we've done it with Zhao Jinyan, Song Yadong, I've done Yuri Prohaska, I've done a bunch of stuff for it. I want to do more like that, but I want to make it a video. And that video is going to be for Patreon subscribers. So the inspiration comes from ESPN on this. You see on like football and basketball, they'll have the graph, they'll circle, draw arrows and stuff. I want to explain techniques in the martial arts that I see. So yeah, let's go ahead and do some of that. First, let's play the clip. This is from King of the Cage, right? This is wild. These guys get methed up. They're like in the Caucasus region, and somebody on Reddit knows somebody that fought there, and he's like, yeah, they get methed up before these fights, and they go ham. They fight on cement. This is like real life underground fight club stuff. It's crazy. So let's go ahead. This is going to be on the Headbutt. Let's take a look. So I am working on an article called The Art of the Ninth Limb, which will go in depth on the headbutt. But today we're talking about this specific headbutt. Yeah, so let's go ahead and start breaking down these frame by frames. All right, so the first thing we're going to see here is, I don't know, we're going to call them Fighter A and Fighter B. Okay, so I don't know their names. I saw this clip on Twitter, and it was just really rad. So we've got Fighter B. He's kind of out there brawling and throwing wild punches, and so is Fighter A, to be honest with you. But what Fighter A does here is he decides to go for the headbutt, which is a savage move, if we're being quite honest, right? So what he's going to do here, you'll see his foot down here, and he's going to make a lateral movement inside to Fighter B. Now this lateral movement, he's going to push off of his back foot right here, as you could see. He's going to push off of that and make the lateral movement into Fighter B. Now, this provides the power for the headbutt coming in. But one thing he has to worry about is going to be the hands of Fighter B. So how does he handle that? Well, let's go ahead and slide to our next frame. So in the first frame, we talked about Fighter A launching off of his back leg. That's where he generates the power from. He angles his thighs, he angles his hips, and he thrusts in with his head. Now, another thing we'll see here is he's not really doing 100% perfect technique, but the technique itself is good enough, and it really lands perfect. So when you're going for a headbutt, what you want to do is fire straight and use the crown of your head, okay? So he's coming in straight like we talked about, but he's also using the crown of his head, and he's targeting the nose, the eyes, the lips. He's not targeting the crown of his opponent's head, because the reason you want to target with the crown of your head is it's the hardest part of your head. It's a battering ram. Okay, so if you go in straight and you target the top of your head, you could suffer spine damage. That's what makes this strike so dangerous, and that's probably why it's illegal. Also, the fact that it's just a savage move, and In most martial arts, it's like, let's go ahead and make this a little more fan-friendly. So instead, what he's doing here, he's targeting with the crown of his head. We have methed up fighters. We're not worried about the viewer. We're worried about putting on the craziest fights possible, right? So with the crown of his head, not targeting the crown of his opponent's head, of fighter B's head, because it's the hardest part. You want to target what's going to incapacitate your opponent, which will be your nose, your mouth, busted lip, your eyes, just blurring vision. That's what we're trying to do, and that's exactly what he does. Now, if you watch Dave LeDuc and Lithway and stuff, what he'll do is, boom, side of the head to the chin, too. We know that's the knockout button. You see a whole bunch of knockouts to the side of the face, to the temple. That's another method he can take. But with fighter A coming straight on, you really want to get the front of the face because that's where the damage is done. That's where you incapacitate your opponent. So finally, on the last slide, no real drawing to do here, but you can see him just coming at a lateral movement. So behind his leg right here, you've got his leg that he pushed off on, and you've got fighter A's leg pushing up too. So he's pushed up into his opponent and just basically knocked him down, as we can see the knockdown. So let's check out the whole thing one more time. See if you could spot the pushing off of the leg, the lateral movement, and the targeting of the crown of the head in the final viewing of this video. All right, well, yeah, the headbutt's really awesome, so I can't wait. Art of the Ninth Limb is going to be coming out. I'm hoping to get Mark Coleman and Dave LeDuc involved, but I have talked to Boss Rutan about it. I've talked to Phil Dunlap is on the schedule to be talking about, so it will have an exclusive podcast for Patreon subscribers. It's something you want to get on, $5 a month. Patreon guys are already there, so they're not going to, like, future videos are not going to have plugs like this, so this is my chance to plug it. The Art of the Headbutt coming out, the Art of the Ninth Limb coming out. As soon as my Ultimate Fight article drops, I'll begin working on that. Anyways, Patreon guys, I appreciate you. Anybody else, let me know what you think about this kind of stuff in the comments. If you'd like to see more of it, you'd have to subscribe to Patreon, but yeah, that'd be something worth it. Check it out. Later.